In this video, I want to give you a BIM industry career growth insight that I've seen explained nowhere else. So this insight, which I'm going to tell you, it ties in psychology with career growth and breaks down the science as to why some people grow quicker and some people grow slower in their career, right? You've probably seen people grow in their career much faster, and then you've probably seen some people grow much slower. You might have also been stuck in some stages of your career, and you might be thinking, looking back in your career, I would probably have been able to get to this stage a few years earlier if I actually had taken the chance, the skill, learned the skill, and actually developed. But what does it even mean? How do you even know if you're on the right path, right? This is what I'm about to explain to you. So, this part of the brain, which I'm about to reveal to you, this is called the reticular activating system. This is referred to as selective focus, and this is the reason why some people grow quicker, some people don't grow as fast. Some people are hungry and really want to grow in their career and actually are satisfied when they get to a certain stage and stay stagnant. Some people, when they get to a certain stage, they don't stay stagnant because they're not satisfied and they want to keep growing, right? This is the part of the brain that actually is responsible for that. So this is the reticular activating system. This is a selective focus. It's responsible for the threat detection and perception of reality in your brain, right? It's located in your brainstem and connects all your senses and perceives the environment. I'll let you know how this ties into the BIM industry in a second, right? So this colors your perception of reality after events happen based on the inputs in your mind. So if you think of your body as a system, your mind as a system, right? This is a system we can't even control, because I'll tell you why. If I say, don't think of an elephant, now you're thinking of an elephant. So you actually don't have control over your brain, how it works, the subconscious mind, all these things, even though you might think you do. So how do we rewire our brain into always achieving rather than staying stagnant, right? This is what I'm trying to show you here. So if you think of your brain as an input, like a system, you have inputs, it processes it gives you a certain output, how you might feel, how you might perceive the world, right? And then there's feedback, and then it goes back into the inputs. That's how I want you to perceive your brain and understand what your brain is, right? This part of your brain is taking the sensory information from your ears, from your eyes, from everything, and it's also coloring your perception of reality. So, what I mean by this is, think about the time when you became a BIM modeler in the first place. When you went from not having a job, fresh out of university, no job, nothing, to then getting a job, how hard was that? You probably had to apply on LinkedIn or whatever job posting websites there were, update your CV, your cover letter, your resume, really get into BIM, go to YouTube University, learn everything on there, create a portfolio, and actually showcase your knowledge really well. So this allowed you to go from no job to getting a job. After you got a job, it's actually very easy for you to then get another job. If I fired you right now, how easy would it be for you to get a similar job again in the same position in another company? Not too hard, right? But then there's people that you probably know that haven't had jobs for like 6 months, 1 year, and they still can't find a job. Why is that? When you get your first job, why is it so easy to get your second job? Even though the first job you might have only worked for 3 months, now it's easy to get jobs all the time. People think it's because of experience. It's because of words you put on your resume. That is not the case, because I know so many people that, for example, migrate from another country. They have good experience, but they're not able to actually get a job. And it's because, not the experience, because someone might have 20 years of industry experience in another country, come to Australia or something like that, and then struggle to find a job. The reason for that is because of this part of the brain. This is the reticular activating system, right? So this is to do with identity. Once you get a job, then you become the person who can get that job because you develop your skills in that manner, right? Once you get the job, you tell your brain, you put the inputs and you have the feedback saying, oh, I'm the type of person that can get a job. This is what I deserve. I deserve to be a BIM modeler. I deserve to be a CAD drafts person. All these things, right? And then this is also how it works in terms of growing in your career, right? Like once you want to get into BIM coordination, let's just say you're a BIM modeler, want to get into BIM coordination or management, and you've been stuck in your career for a while. Well, how is this process going to even take place if you need some feedback in order to feed into the inputs? If you're doing the same thing in your career every single day, BIM modeling every single day, you're not learning the next thing. What is the feedback that you're putting into your brain in order to shift your identity to say, okay, now I'm a BIM modeler, okay? This is the difference between people that grow in their career and people that don't. This is called self-sabotaging into stagnation, okay? If you give your brain the inputs And the answer to this is constantly learning. If you're a BIM modeler, you constantly learn the next skill set. How do I learn BIM coordination? You set up a project, you do the clash detection, you learn the MEP fundamentals, all on the side of your job. You're doing both things at the same time. Now you're telling your brain, you're giving it feedback into the inputs, telling your brain that now, okay, I'm a BIM modeler, but I'm learning BIM coordination. After some time, you have changed your identity, the way you see things, so then you believe that you deserve to get the job as a BIM coordinator. I see a lot of people that work 5, 6, 7, 8 years as a BIM modeler, and they can't get a job as a BIM coordinator because they haven't even given any feedback at all to their brain telling them that this is the job they deserve. So because of that, they stay stuck in their career. So this is what causes stagnation. The only thing I want you to understand is that skills will give the feedback into your brain, telling your brain and telling this part of your system, right, the reticular activating system, that now you shift into looking into opportunities and you focus on getting coordination roles. Once you learn such a high income skill set like BIM coordination, management, you get an MBA, or you do something that takes you to the next stage in your career, even if you don't have that job yet, you're shifting the way your mind works. So this is step one, right? Step one is the skills. Once you learn the skills, your mind will start to give evidence. So now you're the type of person that's done multiple projects on their portfolio, knows how to do coordination, knows the MEP basics, knows management theory, and knows all these things. After you have evidence, what happens is your identity shifts. So then when you start applying, and this is what I mean by identity, it's not some like magical thing in your brain that you might think, oh, this is law of attraction. When you start applying for jobs, you go and do the interview, the way you speak to them is with conviction, authority, confidence, and then they believe that you can actually do the job that you're saying. This is how you get jobs without even having experience, right? Once you learn the skills and you have evidence of the skills, you go to a job interview and you talk to them, then your identity internally has shifted, and that allows you to get the opportunity to get into BIM coordination, management, project management, open your own practice. Until you start with step one, which is skills, you're not going to collect evidence, which is not going to shift your identity, which is not going to open opportunity. A lot of people stay stuck in their career because they learn for a long time. 23 years of their life has been dedicated to learning. After they finish learning, what happens? They get their first job as a BIM modeler. After they get the job as a BIM modeler, all that learning is now out the window. They don't continue to learn. You have to do two jobs, your current job and the job of learning for the next position. If they don't do this and they don't develop skills, they don't create the evidence in their mind, which shifts their identity, which makes them believe that they can grow into the next level, okay? Easiest example for this, for me to tell you, is if you became a BIM coordinator once and worked in a company for 6 months, now you know for a fact that whatever company you apply for as a BIM coordinator, you'd be able to get that job. If you worked as a manager in a company for 1 year and you struggled through it and you learned the ropes, it'd be very easy for you to get a management position in another company. It might not even be some crazy things which you learn. Management is not even hard, but your identity shifts. The way you speak to people shifts, the way your tonality shifts, the way you understand how to manage a team, allocate resources, and do all these things shift, okay? So this is the part of the brain which is responsible for that. This will actually create opportunities in your life. This does everything for you. This is the system which causes that to happen, right? This is your action step. Learn the skills. Your evidence will be created in your mind, then you will be the type of person that is now deserving and that can go out and apply. And when you apply and get the job interviews, it will be so obvious that this is the type of task that you can do without trying to trick the person in the job interview that you know what you say you know. I know how to do coordination, but I've been a BIM model for 5-6 years, okay? It doesn't make any sense. So that is the process, is heavily invest in learning skills all the time. Otherwise, you will be stagnant. And the reason for that is because of this system in your brain. And because of this system in your brain, you will be able to move in the path. This is unconscious, by the way. If you go to see your parents for Christmas or something and you live in a 2-story house and you hear your mum walking up the staircase, you know that's your mum walking up the staircase because she has a distinct way of walking up the stairs. Your dad also has a distinct way of walking up the stairs. But as soon as you hear some random person that you've never met walk up the stairs, you know that there is something different in the way that that person is walking up the stairs. There shouldn't be someone else in my house, right? What does that mean? This is your reticular activating system working. This is the part of your unconscious that goes, oh, because you're not even thinking about it. Whenever someone walks upstairs, you're not thinking about that person walking up the stairs, right? Your brain is just going, oh, I know who that is, but you're not even thinking about it actively. As soon as someone walks up the stairs that you do not know, your brain goes, wait, who is that? And then you start to think about it. So your unconscious creates the input for you to go to you to be awake and then start thinking about who that even is. So that is an example of this working, right? Your reticular activating system. So this also works in career growth. This is the main system, is once you give yourself skills, then your brain goes, oh, wait a minute, I actually know these things. I shouldn't be a BIM coordinator now. My salary I shouldn't be a BIM modeler now. My salary should probably increase by 20, 30, 40%. So obvious. Let me go apply for another job. And at this point, you have no self-doubt or limiting beliefs or belief that it is risky, because this is what you deserve, okay? So this is how your brain works. Heavily invest in learning skills and you will get to that sort of outcome, okay? Career growth is very simple. If you learn skills, you grow in your career. And this is the reason why. I'll see you guys in the next video.